If you look around, you would think Detroit has a 1 to 3 house limit on each block. Does this mean many people do not own their homes due to their personal situation? Or are they homeless because Detroit officials never reconsidered giving them homes for renovation, which would enable Detroit to collect taxes on renovated properties? Detroit officials could give a vacated or burned home to families receiving subsidized income. Improvements would be made through pre-approved bid contractors, who would be paid directly with deductions from the housing subsidized portion of the disadvantaged family's income. This system would give pride of ownership to the disadvantaged, generate property tax, and eventually eliminate the amount for rent the government gives to low or no income people. The occupant's responsibility would be to maintain the property and pay the taxes. The city could hold the deed to the property to prevent the family from selling the property for profit. The family could contract to secure the property, preventing the city from selling the property until the family decides to move out. The property could then be returned to the city or federal government after the family moves out. Another cost-saving suggestion could be to sell the city-owned Manoogian Mansion, which houses the mayor of Detroit. The mansion was built in 1928 and later donated to the city of Detroit. This free mansion has cost the city of Detroit millions of dollars to maintain. Another suggestion is to sell, lease, give away, or use the Michigan Central Railroad Station, an 18-story historical site on prime property. Built in 1913 and closed on January 5, 1988, this building is thought to be the largest railroad station in America and is surrounded by acres of vacant, open land and vacated buildings. The great subject of debate is the Detroit city-owned island called Belle Isle. The city of Detroit closed the Belle Isle Zoo, the Belle Isle Aquarium, and maintains an uncertain Belle Isle Conservatory. Detroit has failed to do anything constructive with this beautiful but decaying island. It could be considered a financial burden. Detroit could convert this 985-acre island into a naturally gated community for upscale residential use, with million-dollar homes to generate taxable income, by sectioning the island off into half-acre parcels and sell parcels for an average of $200,000. The sale of the half-acre parcels of land could generate more than $300 million. The building of homes would create hundreds of new jobs and a wealth of property tax for the city of Detroit. One thing is certain, Detroit has a lot of property available. The city should eliminate more than half of the mayor's 21 bodyguards and have the mayor accountable for all expenses. Detroit should hire a police chief that works for the interests of the people and other police officers. Since the population has decreased by half, the number of city council members and council member staff should decrease by half, with city officials' perks eliminated, including free cars, chauffeurs, and elimination of fun business trips and accountability of all expenses. Detroit should break up into 5 districts, with 1 council member per district, and share a staff of 40 or less for council members. Educate the citizens of Detroit so they can recall and elect people to represent them who are not self-serving. Acquire the aid of former and current CEOs of a variety of successful companies to work toward the redevelopment of Detroit. The people of Detroit should ask themselves, how much is enough? Put aside their pride and consider their choices made versus the choices their political representatives made, and take out the trash. Schools, people, business, and good leadership help make a city. Crime, political misconduct, and greed help break a city. A last resort would be to divide Detroit along Woodward Avenue, giving Highland Park the west side of Detroit and Hamtramck the east side, and declare Detroit a lost city. Again, I ask, where else in the United States can you live or go on vacation and find a metropolitan area vacated due to lack of knowledge?